Well, we welcome you to Ogtv News. I am Mujisola Shulaja. Our top stories. Ogun to establish $2 million integrated waste management facility. President Buhari virtually inaugurates Niger Delta Development Commission 16 billion naira complex. NIPOST reclaims collection rights of controversial stamp duties charges from FIRS. Myanmar military accuses Assad leader Suu Kyi of illegally accepting $600,000 gold. Your failure does not define you, your determination does.
And coming up tonight on the sports segment of the news, Argentine fans protest to demand justice for Diego Maradona. These and many more when I return later. My name, Hakeem Akitunde. You're welcome.
As part of its waste management reforms of converting waste to wealth, the current administration in Ogun State is set to establish an integrated waste management facility in Ogun West Senatorial District. According to the Special Advisor to the Governor on Environment and Chief Executive Officer of the Ogun State Waste Management Authority, Mr. Ola Oresonya, the facility, which will go $20 million on completion, will be situated on a government-acquired land on the outskirts of Ilobi town in Yewa South local government area of the state. Adebola Oshomoji reports.
Globally, problems confronting efficient waste management include proliferation of unplanned settlement, traffic congestion, insecurity, and ignorance. In profiling solutions to these problems, the Ogun State government has acquired land on the outskirts of Ilobi town in Yewa South local government area to establish an integrated waste management facility worth $20 million. Speaking on the project, the Special Advisor to the Governor on Environment, Mr. Ola Oresonya, said preliminary work has already started, which will consist of a recycling unit and a sorting slab where plastics, paper, and metals will be turned to new resource and wealth for the citizens.
This industry, this facility is centered around creation of almost about 200 jobs. And the people that will benefit from this are mainly youths and children. And there are going to be skill acquisition for them. And there are low-skill jobs and there are high-skill jobs that will come there. The low-skill jobs are for women especially. It's in the area of sorting of materials that will be used in conversion process, bagging and the rest of it, while the youths are going to be trained in the area of handling of machines.
He noted that the integrated waste management facility will produce tons of fertilizers from organic waste for the use of farmers.
What will be coming out from there will be fertilizer from the organic waste that will be generated there. And even because the forestry reserve, you have a lot of vegetable waste there, and this vegetable waste combined with domestic waste can give you compost. And compost will support agric investment in our locality.
According to him, those of the Ogun Central and Ogun East Senatorial District will be established soon. Adebola Oshomoji, Ogtv News.
The vision of the current administration in Ogun State to provide the enabling environment for businesses and other commercial activities to thrive will continue to determine its engagement with stakeholders in mining and logistics business. Commissioner for Industry, Trade and Investment, Mrs. Kikelomo Lunge, made this known during the first quarterly meeting and engagement with transportation business owners and stakeholders in mining ministry held at the conference room of the ministry in Okemoso, Abeokuta. Matthew Shomi reports.
Towards ensuring that transportation business owners and all other stakeholders in mining and haulage business in Ogun State continue to work in accordance with the vision of government and achieve the goals of a business-friendly environment. The Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment is holding the first edition of the quarterly engagement meeting in the year. Commissioner for Industry, Trade and Investment, Mrs. Kikelomolonge, said the meeting has been a good platform for people to bring forward issues affecting their operations for solutions to be profiled, while the policies of the government are also communicated to them.
His Excellency is driven to ensure that we improve the business operating environment in the state. So it is important for us to understand what our operators are going through, where are their pains, where are their concerns, and how can we address that. I would also make bold to mention that effective cooperation with all arms and tiers of government is also a priority for us.
In his welcome address, Director of Industrial Promotion, Engineer Kehinde Akintomide, implored the stakeholders to cooperate with government in providing a good working environment for business to thrive.
It's a forum for us as business operators, entrepreneurs, or business owners in the state, and of course the agencies of the federal and the state and other stakeholders that has to do with businesses. It provides the opportunity for us to come together to judge up.
Director of Geological Services, Mr. Olale Eniolahun, said the engagement has continued to yield positive results in allowing for smooth operations of the stakeholders in line with the vision of government.
The state has been attracting a lot of investors now, and so as a ministry that is in charge of industry, trade and investment, we've been doing our bit of it to make sure that investments thrive in the state.
Various issues were brought forward by the stakeholders and solutions were provided by government representatives. Matthew Shoumi, Ogtv News.
Members of the Ogun State House of Assembly Committee on Agriculture and Forestry have commenced an on-the-spot assessment visit to abattoirs and slaughter slabs across the state, expressing dissatisfaction over the poor and unsanitary condition of the facilities, which could result into outbreak of diseases. The Vice Chairman of the committee, Honorable Yusuf Adejojo, disclosed this shortly after being conducted rounds on meat processing facilities, including Kara Isheri Market, by veterinary officers from the State Ministry of Agriculture. Kola Wole-Osho's report is presented in this package.
The Vice Chairman, Honorable Yusuf Adejojo, in company of other members of the committee, condemned defiant attitude of slab operators to the COVID-19 rules, with a charge to concern government agencies to step up measures towards ensuring strict adherence to the proactive protocols against the virus, as the state government remained proactive at flattening its curve. He also called for the improvement of the existing meat processing measures as against the open system, which he described as being crude and filthy and unhygienic. The lawmakers decried the means by which processed meat were being conveyed on a motorbike with impunity in the state.
We noticed a lot of illegal slaughter slabs while we were doing our assessment, and we have advised them to make sure that they get necessary paperwork, get necessary approval for them to regulate their activities, for them to perform better. And we have also asked the officers from the ministry as well to do a follow-up with them, so that they can regulate their activities in the state.
Earlier, in his remarks, the Secretary, Kara Isheri Market, Amzad Seidu, assured of improving on the facilities in the market, explaining that the leadership of meat markets, which served other neighboring states, had engaged the service of developers to improve on the facilities. In a related development, the House Committee on Public Accounts and Anti-Corruption has also considered the financial report of Oba Demola Maternity Hospital, as presented by its medical director, Dr. Ismail Abduganiyu, with a directive to the management team to prepare a comprehensive financial statement reflecting its entire income and expenditure. The chairman, Honorable Musefiu Lamidi, and other members of the committee who gave the directive also directed that the report be submitted to the Assembly on or before Thursday, 25th March 2021. In his response, Dr. Ismail Abdulganiyu assured the committee of the prompt submission of the document with a view of promoting accountability and transparency.
The Vice Chairman of the Assembly Committee on Agriculture and Forestry, Honorable Yusuf Adejojo, and other members of the committee on an on-the-spot assessment visit to abattoirs and slaughter slabs across the state. Moving to other stories, frontline health workers in the Olabisi Onabanjo University Teaching Hospital Isolation Center in Shagamu area of Ogun State have been vaccinated against the COVID-19 virus. This decision, according to the Commissioner for Health, Dr. Tomi Koka, became expedient given the invaluable contribution of the health workers in containing the pandemic in the state. The health workers who testified to the safety of the vaccine after their jabs said there was no side effect from the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine.
I've just been vaccinated, and I want to tell Nigerians that the vaccine is safe. People should go out and get vaccinated.
I'm a resident doctor in the Department of Medicine. I work as the frontline doctor at the Olabisi University COVID Isolation Center. I just got the COVID-19 vaccine, and I feel okay. I feel fine. Not as painful as I expected.
I'm okay.
After your vaccination?
No problem. No side effects.
You're not
I'm well dizzy. I'm not dizzy. No dizzy.
No pain?
No pain.
Headache?
No headache.
As part of measures to fast-track the elimination of malaria in the state, the Ogun State government has inaugurated the Insecticide-Treated Nets Campaign Coordination Network to facilitate effective distribution of the nets across the state. The Commissioner for Health, Dr. Tomi Koka, during the inauguration of the Insecticide-Treated Nets Campaign Coordination Network, disclosed that the distribution of the insecticide-treated nets will commence in July across all the 20 local government areas, adding that the ICCN is saddled with ensuring that the nets are well distributed and appropriately utilized. Koka noted that malaria remains one of the diseases that contributes to the mortality rate in Nigeria, saying the interventions of the government and its development partners have brought about a reduction in malaria death from 400,000 in 2010 to about 260,000 in 2018 in Nigeria.
And almost all the deaths, 153,000 deaths, were in 2010. So you heard from the presentation earlier on that we had a net campaign in 2018 that was successful. However, it was not as successful as it could be because there was actually low utilization of the nets.
She expressed optimism that the campaign will bring about a reduction of death from malaria that is better than the 33% recorded between 2010 and 2018, adding that the key to achieving this goal will depend on high utilization among the citizens. Reacting, one of the members of the newly inaugurated ICCN, Ms. Mosumola Feisheton, said effective distribution of nets will go a long way in bringing down the rate of malaria death to the barest minimum the next few years. Ogun State Governor Prince Dapo Abiodun has received the officials of the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, with an assurance of giving them necessary logistics and support to ensure seamless construction of housing facilities for victims of flash flood in the state. Governor Abiodun, represented by Secretary to the State Government, Mr. Tokunbo Talabi, gave this assurance in Abeokuta. Abiodun assured them of government's overall commitment to the welfare of the people, particularly those who lost materials, properties and other valuable items to the flash flood that occurred in July 2018. Earlier, the State Commissioner for Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, Barrister Femi Ogunbawo, informed the delegate that the state government, through the necessary agency, has already identified a parcel of land for quick implementation of the project. In his presentation, the Director General, NEMA, Air Vice Marshal Muhammadu Alhaji Muhammad, represented by the Director of Relief and Rehabilitation, Mr. Kaudi Fagumi, recounted that what occurred in 2018 was devastating, hence the intervention of the federal government to provide immediate relief through housing facilities to the victims. Muhammad explained that the federal government has commenced necessary documentation, including the identification of damaged houses, just as the state government was expected to provide logistical support with contributions from other stakeholders. As Nigeria joined the rest of the world to celebrate this year's International Women's Day, the Minister of Women Affairs and Social Development, Dame Pauline Tallen, has harped on the needs for urgent and intensified efforts to end sexual and gender-based violence, as it is an important avenue to empowering women economically. Tallen stated this while speaking at the Nigeria for Women project in commemoration of International Women's Day. The Minister of Women Affairs also called on Nigerians to commit to the quest for the elimination of all forms of discrimination against women and girls, with a view to removing all structural barriers to women's economic empowerment. She added that numerous challenges are being faced by women and girls, stating that the effect and risk of sexual and gender-based violence can limit women and girls' mobility, which in turn deprive them from accessing education resources and services, which can engage them fully in entrepreneurship development.
Discrimination against women and girls by removing the structural barriers to women's economic empowerment. Women must have the right to own and inherit land and property and to access credit. They must, as a matter of urgency, intensify our efforts to prevent sexual and gender-based violence. This is an important factor in empowering women economically. The risk of sexual and gender-based violence can limit women's and girls' mobility, which in turn keeps them from accessing education, resources, and services. I believe that together we can make a difference and give women a better livelihood, better sense of fulfillment in order to enable them to contribute their quota to national development.
The Deputy Governor of Ogun State, Engineer Noimot Salako Oyedele, while speaking on the implementation of the Nigeria for Women project in Ogun State, said engagement with both traditional and community leaders, women in Ogun State are able to address their challenges, where many have been empowered through loan seeking. She said 195 women affinity groups have benefited across 3 local government areas, namely Ijebu North, Yiwa North, and Odeda.
In Ijebu Northeast, we have 118 women affinity groups. In Yiwa North, we have 60, and in Odeda, we have 17. In fact, in Odeda, at the point of community entry in February, just last month, over 50 groups registered interest to be part of the project. And we've had to sort of slow them down a bit so that we could grow organically in the community. Community members acknowledge this model as a new approach to women empowerment and express that the previous forms of empowerment did not result in the desired change they wanted. Hence, they are committed to give NFWP the required support.
The event had in attendance Honorable Adewumi Ononuga, representing Ikeme Shagamu Remo North Federal Constituency in Ogun State, The Nigeria for Women project is a World Bank-supported project aimed to empower and improve savings and livelihood for women in targeted areas. And still to come, President Muhammadu Buhari virtually commissions NDDC complex. Stay with us for details and more reports. You're still watching Ogtv News. The General Overseer of Pentecostal Sanctuary Bible Ministries, Prophet Sunday Inyuade, said Nigeria needs divine intervention from God to surpass all challenges confronting the nation. Prophet Inyuade stated this during a press conference heralding the 25th anniversary and 19th annual convention of the church held in Oduegbo, Ijebu-Ode, Ogun State. Yusuf Ganiu reports.
Pentecostal Sanctuary Bible Ministries was established 25 years ago to propagate the gospel and win more souls for Jesus Christ. While briefing the press on the activities lined up for the 25th anniversary and 19th annual convention of the church, tagged The Lord Comment, the General Overseer of the church, Prophet Sunday Inyuade, said the Silver Jubilee celebration will feature various activities, which include convention rally, praise night, donating some materials to institutions like hospitals, correctional centers and schools, among others, as well as giving thanks to God for His grace and blessings upon the church.
As part of the Silver Jubilee celebration, the ministry thinks it fits to touch people's lives by donating some items to three government institutions in Ijebu-Ode.
Prophet Inyuade made scripture backup to the theme of the convention and also shed light on the issue of restructuring, politics, economy and security, and what Nigerian leaders should take cognizance of in terms of policy making and implementation.
The restructuring God wants to do will be of God's mind. A perfect one that will satisfy every sector of the nation. And someone to do that, the team to do that, are not yet available.
While feeding questions from journalists on what could be the way out from this wave of banditry, kidnapping and farmers' elders attack in Nigeria, Prophet Inyuade speaks.
Have the mind of God, live a acceptable life, and be an example to others, a pride to the nation. Those are the Christians, not those that just go to the church assisting.
Prayers were thereafter offered to God for continued peace, unity and progress in the country. Yusuf Ganiyu, Ogtv News.
The office complex of the Niger Delta Development Commission, completed at 16 billion naira, has been formally inaugurated. President Muhammadu Buhari, who performed the ceremony virtually, described it as an important milestone in his administration's efforts at repositioning the Commission for Sustainable Development of the Niger Delta region, occupying a total land area of 39,116 square meters. The new magnificent disabled-friendly head office complex of the NDDC consists of 13 floors, 2 entire building, as well as a 4-story and culinary building, which will be home to commercial properties like banks, hospitals, restaurants, and various conference halls. Before the completion of the project, which started in 1996, NDDC has been spending 200 million naira annually on rents. President Buhari commended the Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Godswill Akpabio, for providing the required leadership that led to the completion of the project. Speakers at the event poured encomiums on President Muhammadu Buhari for his passion and genuine commitment towards enhancing the development of the Niger Delta region. With the inauguration of the new office complex of the NDDC, attention is now focused on the ongoing forensic audit, whose outcome many believe will lead to repositioning the operations of the Commission for effective service delivery. The federal government has formally declared that it will not engage mercenaries in its fight against insurgents amid other forms of insecurity in the country. The National Security Advisor, Babangana Manguno, stated this at the third edition of the State House Media Briefing organized by the Presidential Communications Team, focusing on security sector. Nigeria's service chiefs, led by Chief of Defense Staff General Leo Irabo, were at the 2 Division of the Nigerian Army early on Wednesday to address officers and men of the division. Other service chiefs in attendance include Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General I. Atahiru, Chief of Naval Staff Rear Admiral Awao Gambo, and Chief of Air Staff Air Marshal Isiaka Amau. They were received by the General Officer Commanding of the division, Major General Anthony Omozoji. Addressing top officers and soldiers of the division, Irabo said they were in Ibadan to show that the armed forces were now ready to work together in addressing security challenges confronting the country. He added that their visit to Ibadan was to give leadership direction and re-strategizing against terrorists and other security challenges in the country, in line with directives from President Muhammadu Buhari. Traditional rulers in the country on Thursday urged the National Assembly to restore its constitutional powers, which were eroded by the 1967 and 1976 local government reform decrees. This is even as they presented a memorandum on their request to the Senate Committee on the Review of the 1999 Constitution in Abuja. The Sultan of Sokoto, His Eminence, Muhammad Sa'ad Abubakar III, represented by the Etsonope, Alhaji Abubakar Yahya, made these assertions during a meeting with the Senate Constitutional Review Committee, which was attended by the Senate President, Hamed Lawan. The Etsonope, in its speech before the presentation of the memorandum, blamed the increasing insecurity and corruption in the country on the relegation of the powers of the traditional institution in the country. It noted that major areas of conflict in the country today are on religion, ethnicity, and land resources. Just coming in, President Muhammadu Buhari on Thursday in Abuja emphasized that security chiefs have received marching orders to go harder on criminals, including to shoot anyone found illegally with AK-47. The president spoke at a meeting with the National Council of Traditional Rulers of Nigeria at the State House, co-chaired by the Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Muhammad Abubakar III, and the Oni of Ife, Oba Adeyeye Enitan Ogunwusi. The meeting was attended by security chiefs, including the National Security Advisor, retired Major General Babangana Manguno, Inspector General of Police, Muhammad Adamu, the Director General of Department of State Services, Yusuf Viji, and Director General, National Intelligence Agency, Ambassador Ahmed Rufai Abubakar. The President, who appraised the meeting with efforts by the government to improve the security situation in the country, said his administration has recorded appreciable successes at the northeast and south parts of the country.
That is Minister of Internal Affairs, Minister of Defense, Service Chiefs, Chief of Defense Staff, Inspector General of Police, and the rest of them. And nearly, we gave them clear instructions. One thing that got to the press, which I read myself, was that anybody with AK-47 should be shot. Because AK-47 is supposed to be registered and is only given to security officials. We closed the borders, you know, for how many years. But the intelligence report I'm getting on a daily basis, those who are conducting the abduction, the killing and so on, still don't seem to be short of arms and ammunition.
We discovered that this situation is getting too much on our people, on our land, on our culture and tradition. So we feel, as traditional leaders, we are very much close to our people. We know their feelings, and we know what is happening to them. So we gather ourselves and feel that yes, there is need for us to come and let Mr. President know that the situation is telling very hard on our people. And there is need to take an urgent and immediate steps.
The federal government has stopped giving grants to youth. Instead, they will be giving revolving loans. The Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Sunday Dari, stated this in Awka, Anambra State. He alleges that most of the grants given to the youth were misappropriated and in some cases squandered. He said the federal government had created several windows to engage youth in agriculture and other vocations through the establishment of 2 centers in the north and south. He called on well-spirited individuals and corporate bodies to partner government for the empowerment of the young people across the federation. The 2020-2021 farming season in rural areas soared to 91%, according to the National Bureau of Statistics. NBS said following the rebound of agricultural activities from the lockdown of the COVID-19, about 93% of farmers are targeting higher income in 2021. The Bureau made this known in its COVID-19 impact monitoring November to December 2020. The reports recalled that as of December 2020, round of the NIPS shows the share of households doing crop-related farm work in the 2020 to 2021 agricultural season reached 80%, rising from 70% in the 2018-2019 agricultural season. To Osun State, there was tension in Okuku Town in Odote local government area of Osun State on Thursday as an unknown number of armed robbers invaded a New Generation bank in the community. The armed robbers stormed the bank around noon, shooting sporadically into the air to create fear and scare residents away for them to perpetrate their crime. The Osun State Police Command spokesperson, Mrs. Yemisi Opalola, confirming the incident, said the Commissioner of Police, Mr. Olawale Olokode, has led a team of policemen to the scene of the crime. NIPOST reclaims collection rights from Federal Inland Revenue Service. Stay on for the business segment of the news. The Nigeria Postal Service, NIPOST, has reclaimed the collection of stamp duty charges from the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS. The Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Dr. Issa Pantami, announced. The development brought to an end more than 3 years of controversy and acrimony over the claims of ownership of stamp duty collections in the country between the two federal agencies. Patani, who broke the news, commended President Muhammadu Buhari and the leadership of the National Assembly, especially the Senate and House committees on communications and digital economy, for their interventions on the matter. Pantami made the remarks at the launch of Nigeria's 60th Independence Anniversary commemorative postage stamps held at the Digital Economy Complex, Abuja. Deputy Senate President Senator Vie Omoagege has said that Nigeria lost about $235 billion to the non-passage of the Petroleum Industry Bill by successive administrations. Omoagege, who spoke at the virtual National Colloquium on PIB, said the country was losing $15 billion yearly as a result of the delay in passing the Petroleum Industry Bill. He lamented that the country has lost significant potential investment to other African countries because the country has one of the least competitive deep-water fiscal terms in Africa. According to him, the petroleum industry has been the backbone of the Nigerian economy and the biggest contributor to the national wealth, accounting for about 1/3 of the nation's DGP, over 75% of government revenues, and 95% of foreign exchange earnings for the country. Stock market investments have depreciated by 209 billion naira in the 3 trading days of this week, following renewed adverse sentiments on the heels of the weak earnings results of some companies. In another development in the stock market, the Nigerian Stock Exchange Holding Company, HOLDCO, structure has formally commenced as both the Securities and Exchange Commission and the Corporate Affairs Commission gave final approval. Specifically, the equity market capitalization, which represents investors' worth on the exchange, declined to 20.369 trillion naira from 20.578 trillion naira it opened with on Monday. Olayinka Shodunke will bring us the report from the foreign scene shortly. On the world today, the Duke of Cambridge, Prince William, has broken his silence over the explosive Meghan and Harry interview, saying the British royal family is not racist. In Myanmar, the military has accused the ousted democratically elected leader Aung San Suu Kyi of illegally accepting $600,000 in gold. Let's now join Olayinka Shodunke for details.
Myanmar's military rulers have accused the ousted leader Aung San Suu Kyi of illegally accepting $600,000 and 11 kilograms of gold. The allegation is the strongest yet levied by the military since it overthrew Ms. Suu Kyi and the country's democratic leadership on the 1st of February. No evidence was provided. Meanwhile, rights groups Amnesty has accused the military of going on a killing spree. It said the military was using battlefield weapons on unarmed protesters and carrying out planned killings. The Duke of Cambridge has said the royals are very much not a racist family in his first comment after accusations by the Duke and Duchess of Sussex in a TV interview. Prince William also said he had not yet spoken to his brother but would do so. Meghan and Prince Harry said a royal had expressed concern over how dark their son Archie's skin might be. Buckingham Palace previously said the claims was concerning, but it would be addressed privately. In a statement, the palace said recollections may vary, but that the Sussex would always be a much-loved family member. During a visit to a school in Stratford, East London on Thursday, Prince William was asked the question.
Sir, have you spoken to your brother since the interview?
No, I haven't spoken yet, but I will do.
And can you just let me know, is the royal family a racist family, sir?
No, we're very much not a racist family.
Denmark and Norway have temporarily altered use of Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine as a precaution after Danish reports of some people having blood clots after vaccination and one death. The EU Medicine Agency has emphasized there is no indication the vaccine had caused blood clots. It said the number of cases in vaccinated people was no higher than in the general population. As military rulers.
Thank you so much, Yinka. It's now time to join Hakim Akitunde for the latest in the sporting world after this break.
Welcome to Sports Tonight on Ogtv Major Bulletin. The Chinese Olympic Committee has offered COVID vaccine doses for those competing at the Summer Games and at the 2020 Winter Games in Beijing. The news was delivered by International Olympic Committee IOC President Thomas Bach, who on Wednesday reiterated that the delayed Tokyo 2020 will start on 23 July. The IOC will pay for these additional doses of vaccines for the Olympic and Paralympic team, he added. The Winter Olympics start in February. Bach added, for each of these doses, the IOC will pay for 2 doses more, which can be made available to the population in the respective countries. So tennis now, Rafael Nadal has declined the wildcard invitation to play next week's Dubai Championships, telling tournament organizers on Thursday he needs more time to recover from a back injury. The 20-time Grand Slam champion was hampered by the problem at the Australian Open, where he was knocked out in the quarterfinals by Stefanos Tsitsipas. Nadal pulled out of the Rotterdam